Right. Hey, everybody. This is Tony. I'm back today with a special guest, as you can see, none other than actress, model, author, and singer, Miss Kathleen Bradley. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm great, thank you. I said, Tony, if I was any better, I'd be twins, and that's dangerous. Look at me. I mean, I feel terrific. I feel good enough for two people, but I'm blessed and highly favored.
I know that's right. How have you been doing during the midst of this pandemic and stuff that we have going on?
Well, thank God, knock on wood, wherever I can find it. um, we've been blessed with the family and most of our extended friends and family. I really don't know of anyone that is close to me that has contracted the virus yet. But I had a couple of friends that, like back in November and December, were ridiculously ill, like within over the 50, 60 age range. And they had what they considered or thought was the worst flu they had ever had, that they endured during that period of time. And now come to think about it, they think perhaps it might have been the COVID-19. However, right now, to this date, thank God, we're all trying to stay safe and follow the rules and wearing our mask and staying home as much as we can. We have a certain amount of group of people who are a certain age range that we know have been in the house, not out at the bar, not out at the beaches, not out at the restaurants, not out at the parties. Because these poor youngins, poor things, just can't stay home. But like they say, if you can't stay home, it's going to kill you. Well, literally, God dang it, it's going to kill you.
It's killing you.
You need to stay home, right?
You hit it dead on the head with that one. Now, of course, Ms. Kathleen, you had a long career in the entertainment industry. Of course, a lot of people, or most people, know you as playing Miss Parker on Friday. But long before you played Miss Parker on Friday, though, you had a singing career, actually, that I just recently found out about. Talk a little bit about that. So you were in a group.
Right. Well, actually, I was in two groups, and a lot of people don't know about the second, but the first group was called the Love Machine. And we were formed by our manager, John Daniels, who actually was the owner and operator and founder of a famous Los Angeles nightclub called Mavericks Flats. Now, Mavericks Flat is the equivalent of the Apollo Theater. So it's like the Apollo West, they call it, so to speak. And we had just had a wonderful run there with people coming around, having fun and what have you. I was in the pageant, the Miss Black America pageant. And John Daniels, from that, he founded and got 7 different women together, and he had us, got us together as the Love Machine. And we had an 8-piece band. We traveled all around Italy, Germany, Spain, Belgium, Sweden, Switzerland, Africa, Asia, you name it, we did it. We had a wonderful run. We opened up in front of Tom Jones, Julio Iglesias, Sammy Davis Jr., Red Fox. We worked with Duke Ellington, and Las Vegas, you name it. The list goes on and on. We were actually part of the Motown family.
Okay.
Yeah, the Motown family. And because when I say our name is the Love Machine, which should ring a bell to many people, the song, I'm just a love machine, and I won't work for nobody but you. Ooh, 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 yeah. That song was written for us when we were with Motown. And you know what happened? What happened was Billy Griffin, and Pete Moore. Billy Griffin actually took the place of Smokey Robinson from the Miracles and the Miracles. And he was there while we were there, and they all knew us there. You have to think about it now. If you get an opportunity, without changing the story, if you get an opportunity, go on YouTube and look up The Love Machine Singing Group, and you'll see some of the things we did in the past and how we 7 girls sing and dance. We were way ahead of our time before Beyonce, before Tina Turner, before the Temptations. We had platform heels this high. High heels this high. We were scantily clad. We had little tops on, little briefs, and little midriff out. We was dancing and doing our thing to the hilt. And very, very, very popular, especially in Europe. But while we were here, the Miracles, they said, they wrote that song for us. But what happened was they told Suzanne DePass, who was one of Barry Gordy's right-hand ladies with a PR lady, she said, you know what, you guys, I like that song. That's great. But you know what? You guys need to record that. But we never found out about that until later after it hit out and we heard it. We're like, what? The Love Machine? The Miracles? And then Billy Griffin, being a very good friend, and Pete Moore said, yeah, we wrote it for you girls. And it pertained to us in our lifestyle with our manager. I mean,
right.
If there ever was going to be a time for a group to be a one-hit wonder, I don't care if it would have been so, it would have been us with the Love Machine. You couldn't have missed with that song. That was an absolute excellent song.
So what prompted you to, leave that situation and then join another group? Or what prompted you to leave singing, period?
You know what? I was in the Love Machine for like 8 years. 8 years, and that's a long time. But like I said, we were primarily in Europe. Because back at the time, you have to remember, back in the 70s,
right.
There weren't a lot of opportunities here for unknown groups to travel and do things and be on the circuit and what have you. So, but Mavericks Flat, they did provide that opportunity. And Mavericks Flat actually turned out and had a lot of groups come through there, such as the Commodores, Howard Hewitt, Shaka Khan, the OJs, the Manhattans, the Dramatics, Richard Pryor. A lot of comedians came in there, Red Fox. It was just a ground, a safe haven for everybody to come through there, like I said, the Apollo, and know you could get there with a great crowd. They didn't even serve liquor back in those days, and they were packing that place in. So it was a great place to be and have that format come to us. And we would drill. John was Daniels was a drill master. And I thank him to this day. Back then, it's like being a kid and having a parent who just makes you stay up late, does your homework. You have to do this, you have to do that. And demands you do this, that, and the other. You fighting with nail and tooth and stuff. We used to rehearse until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and come home and dragging and tired because we do a lot of intricate dancing and steps, and everybody had a chance to lead in a song or what have you, which was great with all of us.
Right.
We had a full-hour show. We would come off drenched, totally drenched, but we did it, and that helped set up the precedence for me further down the line. But being in the group 8 years was cool. I had met a man in my life. I wanted to get married.
Okay.
I kind of had an ultimatum, so I'm like, after 8 years, I thought we should have been a little further in our career than we were. So I left and got married, and then the opportunity came along for me to get in a group called Destination.
Okay.
MCA Butterfly Records that was like in the late 70s, and it was in a real serious disco era. I mean, so I got with Destination. It was myself, Linda Theus, and Danny Lugo. Danny Lugo was the lead singer, the three of us. And we did the remake of Curtis Mayfield's Move On Up, da 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 da. You guys can go look it up. Go to YouTube and go to Move On Up. Move. And the old Curtis Mayfield remake, we did it in a disco sound with a lot of drums and high hit hats. Oh my God. People were loving it. We did touring around in mostly United States with Destination in New York and Copacabana and different places. I stayed with that group probably 2 or 3 years, and that was a lot of fun. So I've always been an entertainer. I love entertaining, and having to experience what I did, really, like I said, all of that had led to the next chapter in my life, which actually got married for the second time after, and which is good, second time around, like they say.
That's right.
It all happens for a reason.
That's right. Shalimar made a song about it, so it got to be good.
That's right. Right. So got with that group and just happened to leave. It just changed the dynamic with the recording company and everything. So when I got married the second time, had my second child. And then I got a call, lo and behold, from my agent. And this was like in 1989. And she's from Europe. Kathleen, oh, I have an audition for you. It was a very good audition. Are you ready? How's your body in shape? I just had my son 3 months ago. Okay. So
Okay.
being in this business, you have to have your body in shape. You have to be ready and prepared. You know, our face is our passport as well as our body, especially being a model like myself in the entertainment or what have you. So she said, it's for the Price is Right. I mean, what? The Price is? She said, yes. They want a black model on the show. Do you think you want to go audition? I said, yes, but of course. She said, but you know, you have to wear a swimsuit. They want to see your body. Like,
Okay.
oh, okay. But you know what? Having been regimented and staying true to form and being an entertainer, I knew that I was not going to let having a child or a baby define my body. It's my body. And knowing that when women do get pregnant and have children, I have to tell you ladies out there, come on, even after a year or 2 or 6 months, you can't blame it on no baby fat. Stop
Exactly.
blaming it on the baby fat, okay? Stop. You know, okay, 3 months in, 4, what have you, you know, people get complacent, they get comfortable. But the baby's been gone. You know, that's 15 pounds, 20 pounds, been gone. So I just happen to be and keep in shape because I do believe in that, which I was know that when the opportunity knocks, you gotta be ready. You never know. So I was pretty much in shape and probably could have lost maybe 5 or 10 more pounds, but it's pretty cool. And I went on the audition for The Price is Right. Okay. And they saw many, many models, black models, younger models, older models. And at that time, the 3 ladies that were on The Price is Right had been there for many years, Janice, Holley, and Diane. They'd been there over, about 17 years since the show had been on. And CBS really was under scrutiny. They had to have a black model on the show. And actually, CBS, all the programming needed to have black people in their program, like especially Bold and Beautiful, The Young and the Restless. Right. Other, especially daytime television shows. So they were doing a whole new makeover and trying to infiltrate and give us a little, throw us a bone, you know. But as fate would have it, obviously, and once again, I do contribute having been prepared when I auditioned several times and not feeling intimidated and just being worldly, knowing what I knew, being on stage before, being around people, being comfortable. I went in on several auditions and I just happened to nail it. They liked me. I fit in with the look and the style and everything. Just, you know, blessed. I claimed it. You know, I believe in praying and I do pray a lot. You know, I have my little Father, God, always looking after me, always has been. Lord knows I've been in some situations. Lord said, girl, you know, like, don't we say, if I ever, Lord, I would never, ever do this again. Get me out of this one, right?
Exactly.
Got me out of many of them. But as it were, I wrote it down, and I want people who are watching this show to go away with something in terms of how to really stay steadfast and believe in yourself and be prepared. And this is a lesson in this story because I did all of that and I claimed the job. I wrote it down. I actually wrote down. I said, I claim this because it is good for my family. It is going to bring income in, going to help my career. It is going to do this, like 5 or 10 things. Write it down, claim it. Don't just throw things out there in the universe and hope it's going to bounce back and do whatever, be in your favor. That's not going to always happen. But be prepared, claim it, pray on it, and you know, if it is written, it shall be done, and you will have it. Really.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I was on that show 10 years. Can you believe it?
Yeah, and it didn't even seem like it. But, you know, of course, you were the first black model that they had on there.
Yep,
now, you know, with doing anything or being the first with anything, it's always some challenges or some trials along the way. So what kind of trials or challenges did you face being the first black model on a show like that?
Well, you know, when I got there, I didn't feel it. When I first got there, I was just like a little kid in the candy store and a little young girl here. Not young, but still, you know, feeling my way around on the normal luck. I got a real gig here, you know. It's hard to find stuff and work in this industry and be a part of it, and which I was like I said, 10 years. When I first got there, it was just a wonderful opportunity. And there were some things going on backstage I didn't really know, wasn't really privy to. Like one of the models, Diane, she was actually seeing Bob Barker, and they were having a sexual relationship. I didn't know that, realize that. And initially, Diane, Holley, and Janice were really tight, really close friends a while back when they first started out. But some things had gone sour, and they weren't as good of friends anymore as they were. And so Diane befriended me, and we became closer, and our dressing rooms were together. But I was still good friends with Holley and Janice. But a lot of little cat fights and different things went on behind scenes. I was surprised, like taken aback a little bit. But then, as time went on, I found out a little bit more about why they had dissension and what was going on with them, why they felt the way they did. And I just tried to stay as far away from it as I could. Okay, I didn't need to have trauma. But there was an underlying tone of some segregation there within the industry, and the people who did the camera work or the props and the crew and different things that they would play out. There weren't that many, and there were several that few that were there became friends, of course. We always as Black people, we have an unhidden natural kinship. Even when you're walking down the street, you can be somewhere in Europe or in America or anywhere, and especially just you, and you could be amongst 2,000 other white folks or somebody else. If you see a Black person, you're going to wave. Hi, how are you?
Exactly.
You're going to nod your head. You better not, Black person better not walk past another Black person in a very unobvious position or place and not speak. Okay?
Exactly.
You nod your way. You nod, you make eye contact. We're brothers, we're sisters, and we are. And that's, very much important, especially now these times and days that we stay connected. We are all related. No matter how far you go back, we are the first that were here. The Moors back in Africa and everything. Everybody's come from us. It's taken people a long time to realize that. Some people still to this day don't want to accept it, but that's how it is. But things. There was a little sexual things and backstage, The Price is Right. By the way, now that I've said that, I actually wrote a book. I have a book out. It's called Backstage at The Price is Right, Memoirs of a Barker Beauty. And it talks about my 10 years on that show. And I learned and dug real deep after I even left the show. I found out more about certain things that I didn't even know that was going on while I was on the show. But we'd wear swimsuits, bikinis, and these scantily clad at some point, sometimes during the showcases and different things, showing the boats, getting in the saunas or what have you. And some of the stagehands, they get a little like, the butt with your eyes big balls, when you walk past, like, whoa. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, I see Diane and Holley or whoever in the swimsuit, especially Diane, man, she was so curvaceous and beautiful. It's like, how could you not look? You have to be Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, somebody, blind, literally, not to look at a beautiful woman in a swimsuit or a bikini when you're like this far from her. Who's not going to look? But sometimes some of the stagehands, the guys, they got a little familiar, a little touchy, like, here, walk this way or do something like, oops, act like your hands dipped or whatever, trying to put on your little whatever. But so some of the girls had kind of reported a certain people that were a little touchy, a little not following the rules and stuff. So and actually CBS at some point, they put out a memo, and it said that the men or the guys or the people or anybody that's backstage or stagehands, people that are involved in certain so-and-so such, you are not allowed to look at any person or woman or something longer than 10 seconds. It's the 10-second rule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, more, then that's trouble. And that was the rule, and that was kind of interesting. They passed that memo out. It helped a little bit because it did bring about awareness about sexual harassment, you know.
Yeah.
Sexual harassment is so prevalent in the industry and everywhere pretty much, but especially in the acting and movies and industry that we live in right now. So it's changing. Thank God, a lot of things are changing. People are coming out, people are telling it, so it helps.
Yeah, because now you have, you know, like the Me Too movement, and you have a lot of these people have different outlets now, so they're willing to talk, or you know, they have avenues to talk now, as opposed to back then they felt like their job might be taken, or you know, some of those people were doing it willingly. I don't know, but you know, some of them not, but they felt fear or whatever the case might be in the predicament that they might have been in at the time. You know, now it's like, hey, I'm telling it all.
Yeah.
So
you know what? That is oddly enough, I just did another podcast for Hip Hop Uncensored.
Okay.
And we talked about this, and you know, I had a chance to look at and review what I had said. And my main thing is, yes, every woman should tell her story. Lord knows I have been in some compromising positions where I was uncomfortable. Matter of fact, my first husband, he actually knocked a casting guy out who was taking advantage of me because he dropped me off at I've never told this story before. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
I was went on an audition in Beverly Hills. I had an agent. The guy called, and back then, you know, a lot of times, yes, they did have. I've been to auditions in hotels, hotel rooms with them. There's been a lot of different people there. I've never had really a big problem going to a hotel room because it's cheaper. Sometimes when people are casting or doing a certain project, you don't want to just buy a whole building space for like a couple of projects you're working on. A lot of people do that. You set up here, you break down, you do the movie, whatever, you're done. Right. But there's one particular guy, and I think my husband, Bill, he had a good mind because he was in the entertainment industry as well. And I went to the guy's home, and the guy came to the door, and Bill waited outside in respect. You know, the guy came to the door with a robe on.
Okay.
Okay, he did. He came to, I'll never forget this. He came to, and it was up in Bel Air, Beverly Hills. And I'm like, oh, okay. And Bill was sitting in the car. He looked, and he saw the guy with the robe on and everything, what have you. So the guy was, you know, I don't remember a lot about it, of it and everything, but all I know is at the end of the day, at some point, Bill punched this man and knocked him out because he knew the guy was not doing right, was not up to any good. I think he came into the guy's house and hit him. And I think the only three of us saw it. And at some point, you know, it's like, I ain't going to testify against my husband. Yeah, he did the right thing knocking this guy out. And the guy in the court, and I don't exactly to this day remember, it's been like over 40 years ago. But just to say that is that all of this, a lot of this was going on at that time. Thank God I had somebody to come to my rescue and help me out at that point in time. Who knew what might have happened? But, you know, I was kind of, I'm a girl. I get a little ghetto on you if I have to, okay?
Okay.
I was go down at that point. But he was there, and he was heroically saved the day. But you know what? I don't know if, like you said, there's a lot of time that has passed for a lot of women who had not come forth, who really had a lot of this built up inside of them for 40, 50 years, as we've seen them going back with the Bill Cosby and with Jeffrey and with Einstein, all these guys, you know, Feinstein and whatever. And they go back a long way. Even the one with the guy who's going to get on the Supreme Court. Yeah. The lady who went back to his college days. Some of that, you know, look at, to me, college, you're an asshole, you're stupid, you're drinking, you're doing stuff.
Exactly.
Everybody. He was, I can't really hold that against him. Even if he did that, it was wrong. But to
Right.
go back 40, 50 years sometimes and drudge stuff up, I've done things when I was 18, 19, 20, and maybe allowed it to happen, or maybe was in a position where I shouldn't have been in where things happen. But, I wouldn't, to me, think about calling up somebody 40, 50 years. I don't think that really defines your character after 50 years with a person. And that's like even with young kids who commit a juvenile crime or something at their age. And then when they grow up 40, 50 years later, even if they're incarcerated or jail, you change. People do change. People realize that they're at a frat party. You're drinking. Girls are there. Things are flowing. Things are happening. And they do dumb shit. Okay, they're going to do that. And that's what happened, I think, with this particular person. And it's happened with a lot of men that are being accused right now of certain things, even going back with Joe Biden and some of his aides and different things, and Bill Clinton, what have you. It's sad in a way, and it should be able to make a difference to a degree in certain people's lives. If women feel like they just really have to come out of the 30, 40 years and tell their truth or their side of the story, so be it. And sometimes right now it's getting to the point, if you can't prove it, and most people just can't prove it because it was just between them and the guy or the person. Other than like Bill Cosby, I said he drugged those ladies. There's a lot of ladies and people's stories were too similar to ignore. Too many 56 women, too similar to ignore the same thing that would happen.
Yeah.
And that's just full out taking advantage. And, Jeffrey Epstein, what's the name? Having these young girls and trafficking these young girls all around and bringing out these celebrities, different people, what have you. It's sad. Yeah. Things come to light and just have to be prepared for it. Like they say, you reap what you sow. Be careful how you live. Another lesson out there to people watching this. And I always like to give a little lesson in things I do and tell and talk about. Be careful what you do in life. If you're young enough right now and watching this, think about what you do. If you're 18, 20, 25, at the 30 years old, right now, you still have a point in time to change your life if you're not doing right. Think about, people will go back in your past. They will define you by one freaking mistake you might have made, that you might have made it in hasteness and drunkenness and being high, being stupid, and done some dumb shit. And that should not have to define you, but it's up to you. You now have a chance to change your life and be a better person, be a different person. Don't relive that and rehash that situation. And sometimes, thank God, it might be dormant. Sometimes you might have done something, it might come back to haunt you with the family, with the wife, the kid be knocking at the door. Your child, I'm 22 years old. You had that when you were 16 years old. And I know you my daddy.
Family
dynamic changes, Like, okay.
Yes.
Life is just really a roller coaster. And, it's up to people out there. You can make it good, bad, or you can have a nice little smooth ride. You can have the ups and downs. We all go through curves, curves. And hopefully just come out on top and just, stay steadfast. And now is a good time with this coronavirus going on where people are mandated or should stay home because it's just spiked, as we've seen it spike, because too much has been let up, right? They're letting people go on the beaches, going to the bars.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate because it's like you got cabin fever. When you're used to going out every day, every night, you want to be around friends and people. It's hard not to. But we're seeing now the repercussions of it. We were on top of it at some point, and they have already kind of said this was going to happen.
And now it's happening for real. It's happening for real. So they gotta, we all gotta, understand that everybody play a part in this kind of stuff. So, when you be negligent, it causes somebody else harm at some point,
It does, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we all, I'm not gonna say we all have to be accountable and responsible at some point, to say, hey, this is a real issue. Let me sit my behind down somewhere and go sit down and watch TV or something. Like, hey, if I feel that bad, let me step outside.
It's so tough, and people kind of knew that when how the weather's changed. It's hot,
right?
But you're in a hot environment. You want to go outside. Some people, unfortunately, don't have the opportunity to have a nice patio or a backyard or a swimming pool. You're in a big apartment building with thousands of people in it. What do you do? Where do you go? You have to get out and do, something. But it's still the same thing. Right now, you got to wear the mask. I don't care. You have to. So many people ignorant out there thinking, but nobody's going to tell me to mandate, tell me how to live, wear a mask. Well, you dumbass. Don't wear a mask. Get around some people else that's dumb as your ass. Don't wear the mask. Like at the
I'm telling you.
Party. Look at Kane. Look what happened to him. And all those other Negroes he was sitting around. He has COVID-19 right now. Okay, why? Because he did not wear it. People think that, especially about some political people, thinking that they want to be seen and noticed, and that they don't feel like they have to wear a mask. That they want to speak out, even like y'all's president, 45. It would be beneath him to have a mask on. Like we ain't gonna recognize his ugly ass,
Right.
It's sad. You have to. You gotta conform. You gotta stay with it. People just have to get better. We're in dire space. We're in terrible times right now. This is the worst life point. I lived in 60s, 70s. Vietnam War, to me, was like one of the worst times of my life, experiencing death and feeling like your breath is being taken away, feeling like you have no recourse, and like you just can't get a grasp on anything that's happening. And you just see people that dying in the newspaper, all these young men every day in the newspaper, and their faces and their names coming up, and different things. And look at it now, all these years. And Marvin Gaye, my friend, knew him, recorded with him a long time ago. That song and the songs he sings and sang back in the 70s are so relevant now. It is scary.
Absolutely.
What's going on? What's going on? Things have not changed. Things have never changed. Hey, what are you reading? What the newspaper's saying? Everything, all the lyrics that he's saying. I hope the young people revisit. They need to listen to his CD, listen to his album, listen to him. I don't know if they have or not, but they need to go back and put this little hip hop down for a minute and go and listen to some real lyrics, listen to somebody who realistically has lived and what we're still going through today, 40, 50 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, the irony of it all is really scary. Everything he says, all his music. And, there was a story even with Marvin Gaye. At one point, Motown, they didn't want him to record that album. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but.
Yeah, I did.
They did not want Marvin to sing it. It was like too far out. It was way above and beyond his other little Motown, little singing, little R&B thing. But look at it now. Lo and behold, it is such history. It is so dynamic. It is so timely. And he is just told, it's like he went into the future to even see what was going to happen and being in the present, and that we are still experiencing all that BS.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's a good thing that he did do what he did, and he stayed, diligent on trying to push that kind of music at that time, because that's what he was feeling. But even with those kind of records, like you said, it's still relevant. It sounds like it's a situation right now today because it matches what's going on today. And then you have people like Nina Simone doing those kind of things. So when artists actually, take the time to say this is what's going on in the world, and they actually make music about what's really happening, it connects more than anything else. So
that is very true.
That music is timeless.
Yes, that's so true. And Nina Simone, one of my favorite, and with God, I could talk to you for hours here now about even going through my life and time and period, and that being at the age that I'm at now and having experienced a lot of things I experienced, and how some things have changed, but things remain the same.
Exactly.
And it's really like 2020 is hindsight. Where'd that come from? Who knows where that came? 2020 is hindsight. If people don't know, you never heard about 2020 being hindsight, that means that you should have seen this, foreseen this coming, because it's like your eyes. You can see 2020, hindsight.
Right.
You should see this. Do you know this was coming? And nobody saw it. 2020 started off with an absolute terrible bang when our boy Kobe and his daughter and those people perished on that plane. We didn't think it could get any worse or any more painful. That was just the worst thing that happened. I mean, my God, it's still like some people kind of forgot about it to a degree. Not that they forgot about it, but our whole feelings and life has been diverted to a whole nother angle, to a whole nother painful experience here with all this adversity and the oppression and the killings and Black Lives Matter and all the COVID. Right. I mean, God, 2020. And you know what? There's a little, not a cartoon, but you know how people have these little antidotes and things out. And it was Back to the Future. You know, the movie Back to the Future?
Yeah.
And the professor, the crazy guy, he looked at the, what's his name? Terrence. He looked at Michael J. Fox and he said, let me tell you, whatever you do, don't go back to 2020.
I guess he knew.
Like, how did you see? Don't go. He said, whatever you go anywhere you want to in life, you go to the future, you go in, but don't go into 2020. This is like the worst year ever in one of them. Like I said, people are gonna look up and see how old I am, but it's like one of the worst years ever I've experienced, and it's crazy. And I've seen some things, and I've been around, and like the guy said, from the TV show, and I've seen some things with the commercial insurance company. We've seen it all. We have been there and done it. And
it's a lot, you know, but hopefully things will start to turn around at some point, because as you know, and as you probably seen, bad things don't last always, and neither do good things. So we have seasons, you know, things change. So hopefully this season ends soon.
Yeah.
And we have some more positive things to look forward to. I mean, you know, this year has definitely been a number one for the books. Let me put it like that.
That's one for the books.
I mean, you had everybody going crazy with the virus, like you said, and of course the Kobe, and then you got Little Richard passed away, and Betty Wright, and all these
a lot of people. Artists. We lost a lot of good soldiers, a lot of good folks, black and white, you know, this year. And it's like, man, you know, you die and stuff, and Janae Dubois and stuff, and you can't even bury your friends. You can't even go to the funerals. We lost a very, very big, iconic personality here in Los Angeles, Roland Wirth. And if you don't really live in LA or don't know, he was one of the biggest promoters that have been around and brought so many people together and celebrities and stuff. Him and Howard Hewitt are like dear friends. And unfortunately, he passed. And a lot of other friends and some notable people have died. You can't even go to the funeral. You can't even grieve together. You know, it's sad. Oh, man.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. But let's talk about some acting, though. So in 1995, of course, we all got to see you on the big screen, starring as Miss Parker in the movie Friday, along with Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, John Witherspoon, Anna Maria Horsford, and a number of others. And that movie has now basically since then become a classic. I mean, you can't really go anywhere and say Friday and nobody not know where, you know, what it's about. I mean, what was that experience like for you? Because now I'm pretty sure people still say, hey, Miss Parker.
Oh, all the time. Hey, Miss Parker. Hi, boy.
Hi, boy.
What you doing, man? What you going? You know the whole lines. But you know what? That is absolutely has been one of the pivotal points in my life. Actually, very interesting. As a matter of fact, when I was on The Price is Right, Ice Cube, he looked at the show and he had called or got a hold of my agent, found out who I was, and said, hey, I want that black lady on The Price is Right. Of course, back in the day, nobody really knew my name except the lovely Kathleen. Even when I go out to grocery stores and different places, I can hear people say, that's the black lady on The Price is Right. That's the black lady. You the black lady on The Price is Right. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And it was okay. I didn't mind to be in the black lady on The Price is Right. He said, yeah, I want that sister on The Price is Right. Come in audition for the part of Mrs. Parker. My agent called me, told me, I went in. There was only a few women really who tried out. He pretty much had his mind made up that he wanted me to do it. But of course, how perfect. And
exactly.
I got but you know, oddly enough, being on The Price is Right, they didn't really want us to take off, do anything, go on any interviews or anything, disrupt the show or go off. We had 4 models, so we could have, but they discouraged us from doing that kind of thing. But anyway, I worked it out. I wasn't going to let that opportunity pass me by, not knowing really the magnitude of what it was going to become. But, you know, unfortunately, I didn't really get an opportunity to meet all of the players that are in it. And I was talking about this the other day. The day I worked, of course, I worked with Chris Tucker, Ice Cube, Bernie Mac, Tony Cox, and just happened, and Anna Maria,
yeah,
and her, and also Regina King. I did meet her on the set because she was doing a scene that day. I worked maybe 2 or 3 days on that show set. That was it. But somebody asked me how it was to work with everybody. So I didn't really work with everybody, but over the course of a period of time, I kind of met everybody. But it was just an incredible time, and working on that set. And F. Gary Gray, the director, that was his directorial debut, had allowed everyone to have a lot of freedom of choice in terms of their ability to bring that character to life. And which, as you can see now, and history has noted that everyone who was cast in their particular roles brought life to the whole movie, the whole essence of the movie, and how it was written, how it was directed, how it was shot, with the very limited money that they have. You know, you see a lot of movies and things that maybe were shot in the past, or even to this day, that would look cheap, not shot well, and the cinematography and different things, or all that's kind of off and just not together. This movie was just by divine order, divinely put together in an incredible manner, that it just has held its whole realm and essence of being one of the best, finest Black comedy drama movie that there is out there today. That if you ask anybody, people watch that movie over and over and over again. I can still watch it again myself and laugh. And I know what's coming next. It's just that funny. It's the kind of laugh that you have. You don't have to force yourself to laugh. You know, some things you want to feel a little like, but
exactly.
Slap your leg out. Oh, Lord, Jesus, laughing. I'm just so incredibly blessed to have been a part of this Black Hawk Classic, as they call it, of Friday. And it led to a lot of other wonderful things in my life.
And I don't think a lot of people even realize that the movie itself, normally when you watch movies, you know, the movies take place over a period of time, and it's like, oh, they cut to 6 months later, a year later, and, you know, even 10 years later, depending on what kind of movie it is. But this movie was basically taking place in one day, as far as, you know, how it was supposed to go.
That's right.
So it's crazy how you can see all of this stuff happen in one day, just sitting in this one neighborhood. And, you know, it was just hilarious, though.
That's another thing that you bring that up. That's a very good point there, Tony, that the way it was shot, it was supposed to be one day. Most of the times you see, and back then, movies, different things, you know, this day, that day. Very few movies and things that were put out then were supposed to take place like within a 24-hour period. And the thing is, it was very funny, so amusing, and has so many great little parts and different characters. But at the end of the day, you know, it had a good message to it. And the message was for people to come together. And, you know, you use this instead of the gun. You don't have to fight. If you're going to fight somebody, fight somebody. You don't go out just because you're mad at somebody, go out and shoot and kill somebody. You don't need to do that. you can still try to talk about it or have some mediation or what have you. You know, but Black folks, Hispanics, Chicanos, whoever's killing each other. We don't need that right now. We got enough folks trying to kill us. Okay?
Yeah.
We don't need to like each other. Stop it. Stop it. Let that gang war and all that bull crap go. Just be done with it. This is a calling for them too. You know, for all the people that are in the gangs, different things. You don't really hear a lot about that much now. It's time to unite, reunite, unite. We have to come together. And
yeah.
And people got to get out and vote.
Absolutely.
So voting is crucial right now. You have to. Every freaking vote counts. Even though certain people we know we're going to carry the states. And this electoral voting system is just freaking whack. It's stupid. You know, because Hillary Clinton actually won the popular vote. She got the popular vote. But because the system is still so corrupt, and it's made for those people who are in politics that start with the R, and it's so divided, the Republicans and the Democrats, and it's ridiculous. We're such a divided country right now. It's very terrible. It's scary, and I just hope and pray. And I know I claim it. I'm gonna claim it again, like I did Price is Right, y'all.
There you go.
Miss Rudolph here. I'm writing it down. I write it down daily. But I want to happen at 45. I can't say on camera. I even wish him to go to heaven. I didn't have to tell him to go to hell. But if anything happens real quick, he can go to heaven. I'll let him go to heaven. Lord knows what to do with him. But to say that we claim that we know that Joe Biden is the best presidential candidate right now. A lot of the Republicans and people are seeing it too. They're so embarrassed by number 45. It's just such a different time and day. No one would ever think we would see an imbecile as our president, as leader of the nation. I'm sorry, people who are my so-called friends and some of my classmates who might see this, but everybody has their differences and everybody has an opinion, and that's fine. But, you know, you can't hide the reality of what's happening with this man. This person who's supposed to be leading our country. He's a narcissist. He really does not care much about what's happening. He doesn't read the briefs in the morning, hasn't read them. I don't even know if he can read.
Exactly.
So let that be, please just go out and vote. We got to change things. Things are going to change. Things are going to change.
Absolutely.
This is like the demon year. This is like the year of the devil. This is like the year the devil just, all the floodgates just open up. It's like the hell on earth right now, this whole freaking 2020. And you know, if they say Nostradamus, he wrote about this many years ago, and I had found some people sent me some information about what was going to happen these years. Nostradamus, people need to look him up. And people prophesize things. There's been a lot of prophecy about this, and the forthcoming Antichrist and all that. Lord knows, I know the Antichrist.
I'm trying to tell you.
Antichrist. Ooh, scary. Like Damien, remember that movie, The Omen?
Yeah, it's a trip though. But you know, like you said, as far as like the movie bringing people together, you know, that's what we need right now. And just like in that movie, you seen how the whole neighborhood came together as you know, one, especially when Craig got into the fight with Debo. And, you know, I interviewed Vicki Lynn Reynolds, played Smokey's mom.
Right, yes,
a while ago.
Craig mom.
Yeah. I mean, not Craig, but Smokey's mama. But she was just a joy. But it was so funny to see her, you know, acting that role. And she's kind of like a sweet person, you know. So it was basically like the opposite. But you know, everybody in that movie displayed a coming together, or, you know, it was a camaraderie, you know, at least on the screen it was.
Exactly. It was.
So it
resonated at the end of the day. And like I was saying, in spite of, in lieu of all the funny things, the crazy things, and the drugs, and the smoking, and sex, and different things, and the stealing, and the bad things, and the beating up Felicia and everything, at the end of the day, they're coming together. I really wish I was able to be in that scene. That's one regret I do have for the movie, when Miss Parker just fled and left because, you know, she wasn't doing right.
Right.
When I did see, because I didn't know the whole movie. I can't even remember if I got the whole script or not. Sometimes, when you do movies and things, they only give you the scenes that you're in, and they don't give you the whole script. Sometimes,
Okay.
I wish I had been in that last final scene, and I think it was so relevant and so important, and that gave the great message that Ice Cube and F. Gary Gray and DJ Poole wanted to pull in to let people know, in spite of your differences, in spite of everything going on, we're a neighborhood. We are in this together, basically.
Yeah.
How we can solve it through more peaceful times without going through, live by the gun, die by the gun. We don't have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, in that movie, it was just so many hilarious moments. And I think, to be honest with you, though, your scenes was, the breakout scene.
Yeah, that scene has been shown on YouTube, on Instagram, on all of these things. I mean, that scene has been probably one of the most, if it was really literally filmed, remember back in the day how they used to have film, that film would have been worn out by now. People doing it over and over. I have people saying they've seen that 20, 30 times. I have people saying they have had their children by watching this. Young men have become grown men. And people have had to change their sheets many, many times. They tell me all kinds of stuff I hear about. Miss Parker just don't know. Oh, I do know. And it was just so incredible. And I was saying the other day on Instagram about they were doing it and said something. I said, it was all about angles. With me doing the right angle at the right time for the right feel for what was going on. And of course, then they added the music afterward to go with it. And just, F. Gary Gray said, okay, you up there watering your lawn, be sexy. Well, of course, what I had on already was a little revealing. I'm like, I did feel a little insecure, like, bring it down, whatever. But obviously, I just worked it right where it was enough sensationalism and sexiness, and my demure and just showing just enough and bending down and the right angles with the camera just worked. It just
yeah. Because what's crazy, and people don't even realize, or sometimes they do realize, but it's sometimes when you go back and watch something again. But Miss Parker was supposed to be watering grass, but in the second shot, it was no water coming out. It was like drop. And then if you look at it, it was barely any grass. So I'm like,
well, that's what everybody says. Who cared about the grass, right? She watered dirt. They didn't care. I wish I was watering dirt. And who thought about it? And that's the whole thing about doing that back that long ago, 25, 26 years ago. Man.
Yeah.
That it would come to what it is, such a phenomenon. And I'm so blessed and so grateful to be a part of that. It's crazy. I'm telling you.
Yeah. What was your favorite scene out of that whole movie? Or one of them?
Wow. Oh, I don't know. So there's so many. And I think I like the one where Chris Tucker was in the chicken coop. And he was getting hot for the first time. He had his underwear on, like his white drawers on. And he was going like this. He was okay. And he got in the car with the Chicano guy and everything. Like, they were just going crazy. To me, I always think about that. For some reason, he was running down the street with his underwear on and shit. That was funny. That's, to me, one of the funniest scenes that I recall a lot of time. But there's so many great times and so many scenes, and there are so many sayings from these scenes that people often, say, hey, Miss Parker, and bye, Felicia, of course. And she's one of my best, dearest friends, Angela Means. You might want to interview her one day, but she's, bye, Felicia. She's just such a great, wonderful person. There's
I love Angela.
Debo, and then, what's his name, A.J. Johnson, coming up and say, hey, man, you ate some corn, like you done shit out some corn. Just a little crazy thing. And, people are still doing mimicking, putting on my clothes that I wore, my top, and sending in on Instagram that I see trying to do the Miss Parker thing, smoking and walking down the street. They emulate that all the time. And the one between me and Anna Maria Horsford.
Yeah.
I said, hey girl, how you doing? Okay, I'm going to work now. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Call me later. Okay. People do that all. Some big, well-known Instagrammers and people who have like millions of followers and everything. So I try to hit them back, try to get in. They got more followers than me and say, hey, Miss Parker, y'all did okay. And they kind of really realize and really like that. But there's just so many wonderful scenes in that movie. And it is a cult classic, and it's something people will always be watching from here and forever. They actually have a cleaned up version. So I have a 12-year-old grandson, so I will maybe let him see the clean version of it.
Oh, you got to think about that one. But
no, it's clean. It's clean.
Okay. I think my top, the top three that I picked out was, of course, your scenes, but I think that the top three probably for me would have been, one where Smokey goes in to his mama, and when she comes in and says she needs to go buy some smoke, and he says, okay, where the money? And she hands him the dollar, and she said, this not enough. And she says, make it enough. I think that one is one. Definitely when, what's his name, Red goes to go get his bike back.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets knocked out. And the daddy said, I told you about coming around here effing with these people. And he said, you want some of this too, old man? No. And so
even when John Witherspoon, rest his soul, bless his heart, when he was on the toilet, when he went into the bathroom, when Ice Cube Craig came into the bathroom, man, and he's like, he's spraying. He's just talking and spraying. He know his shit is stinking. It's like, oh my God. Oh, and then with the dog, kicking the dog, everything, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's in there that you don't look forward to seeing. It's never a boring moment. It's never a dull moment. Even when Bernie Mac comes in and he goes over and say 2020, and all this and that and other. Lord, I know what I want. And goes across the street and everything. And they looking over at Miss Parker and back again. And just all kind of scenes. And, with Debo and Tiny and all that. Like, with his evil self, he's still evil. But anyway, they got that character right. They got Debo right. He ain't changed. He's still taking babies back.
Oh, Lord.
Let me hush.
Now, of course, they did, next Friday and Friday after next. What did you think about those, though?
Well, the Friday after the one we did was terrible, bad, terrible, bad writing, just not good. No, it was, then the third one they did was Mike Epps. Well, Mike Epps was in the second one, but what's his name? Little
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams, thank you. Cat Williams. And that one to me was funny. That one was good. That was better. And then they had my boy in there. Oh my God. I gotta think of his name. He's a good friend of mine too. Oh my God, the actor who played the pimp, Pink. He went in
Clifton
there.
Powell. Okay.
Huh? Clifton Powell. Yeah, Clifton. That shit was funny. Now the third one was funny. Second one they could have kept. Third one was funny. I would watch that again. I think I might have seen that one once or twice, perhaps.
Okay.
I would watch that one again. That one was good.
Now I know they were talking about doing a last Friday. Of course, like you said, unfortunately John Witherspoon has passed.
Yeah.
But had the opportunity come up, or if it comes up, are you going to do it, or are you willing to do it?
Well, they're going to do it eventually. And here's the real deal on it, and there's been some controversy about it.
Okay.
When we all kind of met at John Witherspoon's funeral, thank God, it brings people together in life and death. We all got together, hadn't seen each other, a lot of us, for a long time, many, many years ago. We were at his funeral last year. And Ice Cube, everybody was asking him, kept asking, hey, when are you going to do the next one? When's the last Friday? And we'd heard rumors about it, people saying this and that. People saying Chris Tucker wasn't going to be on board. He might do it. He's into the church. He don't want to do this. He don't want to do that. Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I've done interviews where I said, if I'm not in it, y'all don't watch it and stuff. It's been on and stuff. Like Miss Parker said, she ain't going to. So, and I've heard rumors after a period of time. So basically, Ice Cube put all that to rest. And he did his speech at John's funeral. And he said, listen, Lionsgate, who owns the rights to Friday,
Okay.
they had turned in 2 or 3. I think 2 scripts. He and DJ Poole had turned in 2 scripts over a period of time. And Lionsgate didn't want it, didn't like it. I don't have a clue what was in there. I don't know what it was like. I don't know who was in it. I don't know who was not in it. And so he said they're going to keep pumping, keep pushing, because obviously they would have loved to have done it and gotten it done before John Witherspoon passed away, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. So I'm sure they'll do some tribute if he gets in it to show that he died or passed away or whatever. And I don't know. Hopefully he's going to have Miss Parker, because there was rumor before he wasn't going to have Miss Parker. There was rumor that he was going to have, of course, Chris Tucker, I think he's going to do it, Mike Epps, and, what's the name, the other little, I can never think of that boy's name. What's his name? He said it. Who was
Which
in the
one?
third?
Oh, Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. I don't know why I can't think of his name. Maybe because, anyway, Cat Williams. He said something a long time ago about Michael Jackson. I never did like him about when he said that shit. I'll never forgive him. That's why I don't like him. But Cat Williams and D-Born, I guess a couple other people. And I don't know what women or ladies he said he was going to have. And this was all rumored. But he did kind of reassure us when we saw them that, you know, you got to bring back Felicia. You got to bring back
Of course.
Clark. You got to bring back Mr. Little, my husband. You got to bring back Debo and the real neighborhood people. Even if you bring back to the neighborhood, if we're visiting for a day, our family, don't try to take it to Beverly freaking Hills or to the goddamn valley. We don't live there. That's not what that movie was about. It's about being in the neighborhood. Now, there's so many things they can write and have and do. It could actually be a series, Friday series. It could be a series if it was written, done right. And there were a lot of controversy, and there was some comedy, a lot of good fun things, different what have you. And I told Ice Cube, I said, you know what, Cube would be funny? That when Miss Parker was gone, when she came back, she and Mr. Parker had a baby. And now that baby's grown up and everything looked just like Bernie Mac.
Now that'll be good.
Bernie Mac got big eyes, dark skin. That's my baby claiming it's Mr. Parker's son, but we know it was Bernie Mac's son all the while. That would be so funny. You know, those kind of things that you gotta hit the pulse of what the original movie was all about.
Right.
You don't change the beer that made Milwaukee famous. You
Correct.
can't do that and think you're gonna get away with it. Very few people do sequels that are relevant or equivalent to what they had done in the past, as we see prequels and all that. It's hard to do that. But, you know, you got to have some of these characters back and you got to write them and write. You got to just make fun of everything that had gone on in their life. So, like I said, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're writing, if they're still writing. I'm not that close to him, unfortunately, or DJ Poole or any of those guys. But we all hope and pray that the major characters that help make this success will be involved in the last Friday.
Absolutely. What about Tony Cox, who played Mr. Parker, your husband?
Yeah, Tony and I, we talk all the time. Not all the time, but we're good friends. I can pick up the phone and get in touch with him. You know, he's done a lot of great things. Tony did Bad Santa. Me, Myself, and I, and Irene, and this and that. Tony be working. Tony's done a lot of good things. But he's doing fine with his health-wise and everything. He had a few little challenges, you know, with his health and his dwarfism over a period of time, what have you. But we talk. We play bid whist sometimes. He'll come over and with the family and hang out and do different things. He especially likes to play cards. So, you know, now nobody's really getting together, but we have in the passed. We talked not too terribly long together because the cast from Friday got together and did a Zoom, and with Anna Maria Horsford and Paula Parker. We had, who else? Faison was supposed to do it, but he wasn't able to get on that day. And actually, my girl Vicki Reynolds was supposed to get on, but she couldn't get in for some time, for some reason. But you know, that's like Zoom is becoming more really used in means and different other means for the internet to bring people together and do podcasts than you had before. And at that time, which was maybe 2 months ago, she just couldn't get in. It's hard for people. You know, a lot of times you see people setting up, am I in, am I on, and different people doing it, girls, and everybody's doing, am I in, am I on? I don't know how to do it.
Exactly.
Like, so now it's so easy. Click on, click in, people are in, and they're making it easier for people to be able to be seen and heard and talk to people and get together. And so, you know, it really helps out a lot now with your interviews, because I've watched your show, Tony.
Okay.
And I've seen, that you've had some nice, very good artists on your show, and you unfortunately didn't have the access to the Zoom to have them live like this. And you know, you talked and heard the voices, and I've done it before too with the voices. You heard voices, but then you just saw some slides of the people and stuff. But people like to see reality and live now, so I'm really happy for you, man. Congratulations.
A lot of people are excited about this interview. I already put it up on Facebook before, you know, to promote it. And they already came under the comments and said, "Oh, I got to see Miss Parker. Oh, I can't wait for this." So they excited.
My pleasure.
But yes, of course. So before you go, just tell us what are you working on as far as acting or anything? What are you working on?
You know what? Right now, I have a podcast where it's what do they call it? Streaming video show. It's on UMC. First of all, everybody should subscribe to UMC. It's called Urban Movie Channel. Go on your internet. It's only $4.99 a month. There's a lot of good TV shows on their series, like a 30-minute series shows. A lot of the famous Black actors and people that you know, you've seen. So many of them, I can't even think of them. Ambition and a lot of different TV shows. So it's an urban movie channel, and it's Black owned and operated. And the show I did is called A House Divided. Now, House Divided, I was in the first series that's gotten picked up for the third series. I didn't get into the second series. I was in the first series. Something happened to me, but they're going to bring me back in the third series, as you know, reminiscent and different things. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, that's my husband. Paula Parker from Friday. She plays my daughter. Art Evans is in it. Now they have Lisa Ray. She's in the second series. I wasn't in that second. So Lisa Ray's in it. What's her name? Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. A lot of good actors and actresses. Let me say that. And I would like people to encourage you to go on, start from the first and second season and watch it. We'll be taping the third season in the middle of July. And I got the call and said, "We want you to come back. We're going to do some, scenes of you when you were married to Larry, because in the first session, I'll tell you, I die." All right. Well, I die. But anyway, a lot of these TV shows and things you do, people come back up to life. And so
exactly.
My twin sister, but it's going to be me, and they're going to write me back in for a little while, which is great. I'm so happy about it. But it's a really very good series, and I've watched it, and I was, I'm pretty critical of filming and location and characters and acting, but it's got all the great elements in it, and I'm very happy and pleased to be a part of it. So it's called A House Divided on UMC. Start watching it now, and then by the time the third season comes around, you'll see me. I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, the actress. The actress Deborah Lacey that I just did an interview with recently.
Deborah's in it. Yeah, Deborah Lacey, right? Yeah, she plays actually my sister, one of my sisters, Deborah Lacey. Very good.
Okay.
Ray and know, when I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of good actors and people in there. It's
right.
very good. We shot at this ritzy $20 million mansion in Malibu was my home. And it's incredible, owned by these Iranians. They had it there. They didn't do a lot of, live there that much. But a lot of these people have these big mansions. They just rent them out to Hollywood studios. We got a
Exactly.
That was my home, the $20 million mansion up there. So the scenery and sets are really great, man. They pulled it off with the aesthetics, and the ranch. We have a horse ranch, and we went out to one of the ranches out in Malibu too, with the horses and the equestrian center. So it's really nicely laid out, and not just a little typical in the house, little in the room stuff. The scenery is just breathtaking. It's like, wow, those Negroes.
Yeah.
Don't they?
And it's like top notch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice,
Demetria McKinney. That's whose name. Demetria McKinney. She's in it.
Okay. Yeah, Demetria is very good. Of course, most people know her from like House of Pain and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah, she's very, very good. Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So of course you got the book going on. And what's the name of the book again? So we can make sure that they get it.
Backstage at the Price is Right, Memoirs of a Barker Beauty. You can go on my website, KathleenBradley.tv, KathleenBradley.tv, or just go to Amazon and get it. Because right now I really need to update my website. I don't have any more hard copies, people. Don't try to get the hard copy. You can get the soft copy. And it's really a great read, and it's doing really well. I haven't promoted it as much as I should. It's been out since 2015, so it's been out a while. And I did a little book tour and talked about it in some TV shows and commercials and different things. But I will probably do a revitalization of it. And unfortunately, we all in life have to perish and die. We all gonna die, okay?
Yeah, of course.
No bad, nothing on anybody. But Bob Barker, he's getting up there in age. He's probably right now about 96. And I'm thinking that when he passes, a lot of people are going to be looking for some memorabilia and different things. I think the book's going to become very popular. I told the truth as much as I could about the book, and from my eyes, how I saw the show and my experience and different things that have happened. And I don't it's not a Bob Barker bashing book. It's not. But it's a reality from my eyes. And it's also, at some point, learning a lot about the show, like I said, when I left and got fired after 10 years from different people that were on that show, and behind the scenes they got fired as well. And they really lashed out about Bob, some tabloid magazines and different things. And I picked up these tabloids and I quoted some of the stuff that they said. So I didn't say it. So, but a lot of it was true, unfortunately. And I knew that to be true at some point. I had a gag order for about 4 years after I got put off the show. They gave us a little settlement, but, it was just really kind of devastating, how we were let go. But that's history. Yeah. And everything, like they said, when one door opens, folks, the other one's going, what? Open up.
Open right on up. That's right.
Door. Hey, close, gone. That's it. Chapter gone. We live chapters in our lives. We live decades. We live series. We live years. We live months. And our lives, it's up to you to make that change. Open up the door. Get it myself, like James Brown.
That's right. And
on my Instagram, go on my Instagram, and it's Kathleen Bradley _ Mrs. Parker. Okay, do that.
All right. So Instagram, and then any other social media?
Well, I have Twitter. I hardly ever go on Twitter, but it's Kathleen Bradley without the Y, because it's Bradle. That's it. Don't put the Y on there. and Facebook, I have 2 different Facebooks, but I have to let people in. I got actually 3 Facebooks, but if they try to get in on Facebook, I'll let you in on Kathleen Bradley Facebook. So it's there, and I like sharing some of my stories and fun with everybody, and everybody wants to know, Miss Parker, what you doing, what's going on. You
Of
know, still
course,
looking
of
good
course.
after all these years. And a lot going on. Family person and grandmother and a grandma. You know, as we say.
Yeah.
God has been good. I've been blessed. Just want to thank you for having me on the show.
No, of course. And you know, like you just said, it's a blessing that you're still here and people still memorize you and want to hear from you. And like you said, you're still looking good because right about now you competing with some of the 30-year-olds and 20-year-olds probably at this point. So you've been blessed tremendously. Trust me.
Thank
you. No problem at all. Well, Miss Kathleen, I definitely want to thank you so very much for doing this with me today. Of course, everybody check out her book, also her website, KathleenBradley.tv, and find her on Instagram, wherever you can find that, and make sure you go pick up that book, like I said, and look out for House Divided Season 3. We'll see you then. All right. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.